Welcome to Rise Today Lounge. Lucy Karaoke is here with us, a financial consultant and advisor. How you have a master's degree at your age and you're already taking on such responsibility, I don't know, but welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay, this is out of the record. Please, Mr. Producer, do not kill me. Do you plan to go unnatural with your hair?
No. I love natural, and I think it's something that runs in the family, so yeah. It's a family thing.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That aside, we are trying this morning, and we have just 10 minutes, I'm told.
Okay.
We are trying this morning as much as possible to get as many youths into the idea of savings. First of all, Noah said something that was very important. You cannot have savings without spending. Take us through saving as an idea.
Okay. So here's the thing. People keep saying that they have goals in life. I want to have achieved this. But you don't even save for such things. So saving is actually having a good relationship with your money. It's you to say that I need to pay myself first. So whether you're running a business, whether you're employed, you need to get into the habit of saving money. And when I talk about paying yourself first, what I mean, Corazon, is it's saying this money has to first get deducted from what I'm going to be using. So some of the avenues that you can actually do this is standing orders. So people normally hear the term standing orders, but you're like, what the hell is that?
Exactly. What on earth is that?
Yes. And you know, once the money hits your account, you need to get into that habit of saying, this specific figure will be going to another account. So first is actually minusing this money from your current account. So it needs to be going to an account where actually you're not going to have easy
You're not going to use it. The same way you deduct your tithe the moment you have money. You know, it's the same way you deduct your savings.
Yes.
That is something that is constant.
Yes.
There are various ways of saving without probably having to use the bank. Which are the other avenues of savings?
Okay. I don't advocate for under the mattress saving. The house can always catch fire. But of course, we do have other avenues like M-Shwari. So you can actually take advantage of the new things that are actually there in the market. I know you can also do, you know, other, okay, M-Shwari is actually one good avenue because once you save up, you can also be able to get a loan.
To get loans directly, and it's not so tasking.
Exactly.
One of our viewers has suggested that he would rather invest because by investing, then therefore his money is not lying uselessly somewhere. What do you think about that?
Okay, I'd like to tell our viewers that some of your money will always cry out and say, I want to be safe. You can't say it's good to get into the habit of investing and growing your money, but some of your money wants to be safe. Here's the thing. You always have to plan for rainy days. Stuff happens, some which you don't even know what's supposed to happen. What if you were to fall sick today? If your money is tied up in investments, chances are liquidating money from investments can be so hard. Example, your money is tied up in shares. I've been trying to liquidate my Safaricom shares. It's taken me almost 2 months. That's a whole 2 months.
It's a lot of time.
So it's not money you can easily access. So it's good to say this money needs to be in savings, but this specific money needs to be growing.
Then now we have the very young person, 23, 25, 28, who is either trying to start up a small business or is thinking of pulling, you know, the money that she or he is receiving from one end and have some savings with it. But there has to be a lifestyle. How does lifestyle play against the kind of savings you're supposed to have?
Okay, so once you know that your lifestyle costs this much, you know, when you're young, in fact, it's good to say when you're young, probably you don't even have so much responsibility. When you grow older, your responsibility becomes more. Your responsibility becomes more as you grow older.
Very true.
So it's good to say when you're younger, you can save maybe less and invest more.
But at some point, then people ask themselves, do I need not to make my hair? Do I need not to wear clothes that are beautiful because I'm young and I need to save? How do you keep a balance and still manage to save?
Okay, so I like talking about adjusting your lifestyle. So sometimes when you look at your budget, so it's good, first of all, you have a budget and say every month, maybe my hair costs me 1,000 shillings. But is it a must So if you have other goals, it's okay to actually adjust your lifestyle. So you can actually look at your budget and say, what can I really bring down or take higher up? So if your hair is costing you 1,000, is it possible that you can get another place where you can make your hair probably for 800 shillings, and then that 200 can actually go into something else? So it's okay to also keep checking your budget, adjusting your budget accordingly, with your goals in mind.
So it simply means it is okay to not have a bed and sleep on a mattress for some time, for as long as you know where you're heading to, right?
Yes,
it's okay to cut your hair flat and just...
My sister cut her hair.
Yes.
And she's saying it's costing her less because now she used to use up to like 3,000 on hair, and now she's just using like 200 to just have it, you know, cut just a bit. So it's just really about who you are, what matters to you, not what matters to other people.
Very
As
true.
long as you know this is
where
what
you're
I
heading
want,
to.
then you can adjust your lifestyle accordingly and say, I can actually spend this much this month, and I'll have this excess to do something else with it.
It looks a lot like at the end of the day, you are the only one who understands your goals, and it does not matter what the next person thinks. Then there is the idea of having more than one resource, source of income. Because at the end of the day, people sometimes tend to rely on their jobs, and then they imagine they don't have time to do any other thing.
Exactly.
Talk about this a bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In one of my trainings, I normally tell people about accelerating your income. So, like 2017, where you were in 2016 shouldn't be where you're going to be financially in 2017. So you need to actually look at all the sources of income that are possible to you. In another training, I also teach people not to just focus on their jobs. Qualifications are good, they will get you that job. But what are you doing with your skills? What are you actually doing with your skills? So we find that fine, maybe I studied human resources, but I can actually do something else that is not in human resources that can also be a source of income for me. Maybe I have this job, but I'm still an investor in real estate. Maybe I still have this job, but during my weekends, I'm saying, you know what, I need to train somewhere and I can get an extra income.
Another example you gave at some point was maybe making chapatis. If you're good at making chapatis and selling at the nearest tuck shop, you know, it can be anything that you're able to do within your environment. At the end of the day, you're the one who knows what you want to get to.
Exactly.
Then there is the idea of goal, which this is all about. Achievable and unachievable goals. Is it possible to have a goal that cannot be achieved?
Well, it's good to be realistic and say sometimes you actually set goals, but you find that by the end of probably the year or 2 years, you still haven't achieved that thing, So it's just to say it's probably not to give up on your goal, but actually to change the strategies that you're using to achieve the goal. Because you see, if you can work on the strategy, you can still achieve the goal. And if you don't achieve it now, it doesn't mean that you give up on it. So what I do sometimes is, what I didn't manage to do in 2016, I try and carry it over to 2017 and see if I can actually be able to achieve it in this time. So don't give up on your goals, just change the strategies, because remember, insanity is actually doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So just try and change the strategy and see if you can actually achieve the goal.
At what point would you advise a young person to begin thinking of goals like owning a house or owning a home or owning a car? Or, you know, at what age do you think now they should start thinking about all this?
It's now. As in, I keep telling people you have one life to live. So you just have to live it now. Do what you can now with what you have. You know, people think owning a car is like a dream, a big thing, which is really unachievable. But you know, sometimes when I get into the investment classes, I normally teach about good debts. So a good debt may be somewhere where you can actually borrow a facility in terms of a loan. You buy whatever you want, and just make sure whatever you're investing in can be able to pay the loan back comfortably and make you money. So what if you were to take a loan to buy a car, and you can actually translate it or use it for an Uber as an Uber or a Taxify or a little cab, that can make you money. That's now a business. So you need to be thinking in terms of, I want a car, but can I really afford the car right now? Or what is the car meaning to me at my age? So you can take good debts, because many people think that having a debt is a bad thing. People brag that I've never taken a loan. It's not really a good thing.
It's not a good thing, because the money you're putting in the bank, somebody's taking it out as a loan and then returning it after making something good out of it. Talking about age and goals, people think that at some point when you're 35, 40, there's an age that you cannot begin to think about such things. You cannot make particular strategy.
Yes.
Is there a time that it's too late?
And also maybe to also touch on what you were saying about age. People forget that, you know, when you think about real estate, I want to be a realtor someday. They think about the big flats in the nice posh areas, but they don't even start from saying, can I own a tuck shop in my campus? That's property. So you also need to start where you are with what you have. Can you be able to start with one kiosk? Can you be able to start with one tuck shop? Then maybe that one tuck shop will give you the next tuck shop. It will give you another one. Then you'll have a chain.
There has to be growth.
There
from
has
somewhere.
to be growth.
Then talking about growth and people beginning small, they're young girls, and I know some of them probably are watching right now who think things like selling charcoal or making dowels, you know, ndunyas by the road are a no-no when you have a degree, you know.
True.
I mean, what would you tell such people who now rate sources of income from, you know, how they look or feel?
I like what you've brought up, because most people say, you know what, I have a degree, I have to have an office job, I have to be sitting somewhere on a, you know, nice, comfortable seat. But I must say, like, when I did my degree, I wasn't employed. I actually did business. I actually started thinking, what can I do with my skills? So my qualifications are not working because maybe I'm not getting a job right now, but what can I do with my skills? And I realized I'm very good with content. So I started looking for people who like to do research, and they needed extra people in that capacity. I started doing research for them on a day-to-day basis, and they actually pay so well. That's because I tapped into what I'm actually good at. So it's my skills. So we also need to stop getting you know, not when I talk about accelerating your income. So remember, it's getting all these things. And you know, sometimes even the charcoal, as people say, it's dirty, it has a lot of money. The charcoal briquettes is actually a booming business currently in Kenya. And I think we've all heard about the charcoal briquettes. It's money. And I know people who've done degrees and actually doing it, in that business, and I think some of them are actually from JQuat students, and they're actually making a kill out of it. So it doesn't mean that you have to be in it, doing all the dusty work and all. It's actually seeing, can you actually package this commodity so well, such that somebody even in a posh estate can be able to go buy it from a supermarket.
You can be creative.
Yes.
And you can get dirty as well. You cannot as well get dirty if you know what you want from it.
Sometimes if you want money, you actually have to go hard sometimes. You have to go hard in it, just try and limit the price for financial success. That's also something that people forget.
Because if you employ someone to do what you're going to be doing, then you'll have to pay more for it. Discipline. Watching movies can be fun at some age, and listening to that loud music. And sometimes then the laxity comes in and people are thinking, I still have time. Discipline. How does it play a role here?
I think it's good for people to know that if you waste time, you waste money. It's just as simple as that. You waste your time. If you're careless about your time, you're wasting your money, you're wasting your life. So it's good to just say, watching TV is good, because maybe I want to watch TV, maybe I want to catch that series that I missed, but you just need to limit the time. It doesn't mean that,
some people don't see the difference between herself or himself who is seated somewhere watching movies and listening to music and doing nothing, and someone who is outside there sleeping only 3 days a week, like one of our guests just said. What is going to be the difference between these two people in the future?
The difference is that this person is going to have more knowledge, more information. This person is going to be more focused, and this person is going to be wealthy.
And more experienced as
this
well.
Other person is going to be a lazy person, dreams never achieved, always blaming other people for what is not achieved. Because this person, like I was reading an article today, and I was actually challenged by someone who was saying that, what do you do with your time even after work? So you know, most people, sometimes you go to work 8 to 5, you rush home, by 6 you're at home.
And I think we should talk about that someday. Investing your 8 to 5 every day in somebody's business. It should be a no-no at some point.
Yeah, it should be a no-no at some point. So, and you find that this person is getting home at 6, but is sleeping at midnight. That's a whole 6 hours. What are you doing with these 6 hours? That's another thing you need to question. Some of these people don't even have families, like what you're saying, the young people. What are you doing with these 6 hours? This is the time now they're watching football, it's the time they're betting, it's the time they're watching something else, they're reading and investing their time in all the wrong things. Instead, why can't you catch a book that is actually going to change your life.
Because at the end of the day, and this we have said over and over again, there's knowledge in books. If you want to explore business and entrepreneurship, you have to find that information.
Yes.
Look for it.
Yes.
Chama. Tumekuwa na sasa a lot of feedback that's coming in. If somebody is doing boda business and they're into chamas and at the end of the week they have some savings. What's your take on this? It's moving faster than banking.
Yeah, it's moving faster than banking, by the way, because you find that even in most of these chamas you can actually access loan facilities from them. Interest rate is actually very low from what I've gathered from most people. Chamas are a good way, but I'd actually want to challenge people. Don't run your chama as a social group. It is as simple as that. You need to be running as an investment group. So you need to have the investment mindset when it comes to chamas. You see, most people normally come just meet. The chama one boozy, hang out for 3 hours and actually
nothing. Thank you very much, Lucy. I wish you had come earlier, but thank you so much. I believe our youth have benefited this morning. Chama's not a social group, it has to be business. Discipline yourself. There's a big difference between you who's watching movies and listening to loud music and that person who is reading a book that is going to help them to find information on how to invest next. Savings. What's your saving plan or preferable savings mode this year 2017? It's Bishara Tuesday. Keep it right here. Thank you very much. That was Lucy Karaoke, financial consultant, and at her age, she holds a master's and is giving content. Be inspired and challenged.